Are we ready? Good morning. Thanks for coming out on this chilly day. As you probably know already, we've had an unprecedented number of new claims coming in, obviously, with the governor's orders for people to stay home. More and more people are applying. Our system is managing it. It's an old system. It will certainly delay some of the processing of a lot of these claims. We've shifted personnel to claims operations to augment that process to be sure that we can get these claims turned around as quickly as possible. The number of claims that have been submitted, by my latest estimate, could be about 20 times the average claims that we will have received only a few weeks ago. We're bringing back retirees. We're paying employees overtime to augment as much as possible our processing. So if you're unemployed, if you've been recently taken off, been out of work, go to filectuy.com to file a claim. The one thing that I want to urge employers to do is to use the shutdown process of our unemployment system. With that shutdown process, when you go to file CTUI, all you have to do is put in a start and end date. The end date, I believe, has to be within 6 weeks, and issue a separation package to the employee with your registration number. That is, with the employer registration number. If you do that, if you use the temporary shutdown process, our claims will be much more automated. Individuals who are laid off will be getting their checks a lot quicker. So I want to urge you, please, to use that process. Thank you. Any questions?
How many claims do we have? The last number of claims that we got that you gave out were on Monday, so there were 99,000 as of Monday.
Well, the problem with knowing that is we have new claims coming in, and we also have folks who have been filing duplicate claims. So those numbers are becoming mixed. It's hard to say, but on average, it's been at least 20 times the normal amount. I can't give you an exact figure right now.
One of the things that you mentioned with employers to fast track the system and other states are doing is verification of this number. Some states are waiving that to get the checks out faster. Is that something that Connecticut would consider?
Want to answer that? Sure.
Good morning. Daryl Dazinski, Deputy Commissioner with the Connecticut Department of Labor. The Commissioner has the authority through state statute to waive work search efforts and fast track the ability for someone to be eligible for unemployment insurance under the COVID-19 guidelines. Right now, the numbers that we're talking about are through a pandemic situation. No Department of Labor throughout the country has ever seen these types of numbers. In a recession, or even the last great recession we had that began in 2008, the unemployment starts slow and then grows, and you try to keep up with it. In this environment, we had received over 6 months of work, unemployment claims in 1 week, and it continues. Our staff are just doing amazing work. It's what your neighbors would expect of the Department of Labor employees, and we're doing the very, very best that we possibly can. We are behind. We are at least 3 weeks behind at this point, so the automation has to be reviewed to make sure that we're able to support our customers and the unemployed claimants that we will be paying unemployment insurance benefits. We are looking at automation so that when we do process their new claim for unemployment insurance, that the weeks that are behind, that are missed, that they're retroactively paid so they're made whole and get that money to them as quickly as possible. As we stated before, the best way for a claimant, an unemployed worker, to receive unemployment insurance is through enrolling with our system on the direct deposit, so that the monies can get routed right to their checking or banking information. If they do not have that ability, then they will receive a debit card. That debit card process takes an additional 10 days because the card has to be produced out of state, mailed to them with the United States Postal Service. So we're urging all of our customers to enroll with their banking institution information on our website in their application.
So the debit card is an exchange. If they can't get the check out, or the check's going to take 2 weeks or whatever, they can get it on a debit card. You can get it on a debit card faster.
Unemployment insurance is not paid by check. There's only two opportunities to receive unemployment insurance: direct deposit or debit card. We are urging our citizens to use the direct deposit, providing their banking information so that we can get the monies to their banking account within 2 business days.
When you say you're 3 weeks behind, does that mean if somebody files today, it's going to be 3 weeks and a couple of days? Because it normally takes, what, 3 days?
At this particular time last year or a month ago, we were processing a new unemployment insurance application between 1 and 3 business days. We are now at 3 weeks, and it will grow. The problem will be is individuals are instructed to file their weekly claim. They will not be able to do that until we process their new claim. Therefore, we are trying to create automated processing so that we, as the Department of Labor, will be able to file their weekly claims and go retro to make them whole, and so that no one misses out on any unemployment insurance opportunities.
So we are currently hearing that you're unable to, so you file a claim online. You're only allowed to file a claim online during a certain time of the day, and then you're unable to verify that. There's like not even a phone number where you can call and check to verify that. So that might account for some of.
It's a great question. So please know we're getting an unbelievable amount of volume. So we know our customers are able to use our automation. We also do know there's a certain percentage or number of our customers that need additional assistance that we just can't provide at this time. We are handling the masses the best we can, and once we are able to resume normal operations and open up to the public, we'll be able to handle any additional questions. In the meantime, we have a web help. It's an email system that we're communicating back and forth by the thousands every day. We also have an online assistance center, which is an email mechanism very specific to unemployment insurance questions. So the online system to file a new claim does not close. It is open to the public 24/7, 365. It does not shut down. The weekly certification to file your weekly unemployment to receive the actual benefits for that week, that system has specific hours of operation. It is open for roughly 12 hours, but it does have to close at the end of the day because our system is still managed by a batch system, a mainframe, and unfortunately with this type of environment technology, you do have to close that particular system to the public.
How many businesses have filed letters with the department? We heard about the Chowder Pot, Restaurant 121, Hilton Garden Inn. Any other businesses have filed with you?
So we won't confirm actual names of companies, but many companies have filed with our shared work plans so that they have a reduction in hours to keep their employees employed at a part-time basis, and we can also pay them partial unemployment. We're getting many of those applications under the shared work opportunity.
Can you tell us how many people?
And the number of folks that have used the extended the temporary shutdown mechanism has ticked up recently, so we're enthusiastic about that.
Can you tell us how many employees or retirees you're bringing on to move this process faster?
So it is, we're seeking many of our retirees. This is a specialty area. Unemployment insurance, unfortunately, is very complex. It's a federal and state program, so it's not only under state laws and regulations, but it's also federal. So you have to have an expertise, and we're looking at roughly about a dozen at this particular point, And there's also Department of Labor employees in the past that had, through promotion or other opportunities, go to another state agency. We're trying to bring them back into the agency for a short period as well.
Excuse me, sir. My name is Daniel Arriaga. I filed my unemployment claim on Sunday, but now I can't get back into the system to see if it was accepted or not.
Great. So once you actually go through the online application for a new claim, there's multiple pages, and as you go through the multiple pages, the data is being saved. Then you come to the last page and you're confirming, and you actually have to submit the claim. There's a submit button. If you do not submit the claim, we will not have it to process. So once you submit it, then the response back to the claimant would be an email. The email is your confirmation that your claim has been received and will be processed, and then we are providing additional communication via email, mass amount of emails, just to keep the communication alive and going, and so that you are aware of the situation throughout. But as I said, as we are behind in our processing, we are creating, developing programs to make up for the weeks that are in the past, to make it retro, so that everybody would be made whole. And if you are eligible, you will receive those monies, and hopefully through direct deposit.
Okay, so I'm trying to say, so it won't be in 3 days like it said. It'll take a bit longer before I get my email, because I did submit my case.
If it's not a temporary shutdown where you have the employer registration and a return to work date within 6 weeks with additional information, if it is a temporary shutdown, that process would happen within 2 to 3 days. If you do not have the temporary shutdown from your employer, then that process is over 3 weeks at this point.
Again, the urgency for employers to utilize the temporary shutdown mechanism in our UI system to get claims out and checks out for people like you. So please consider that. All you have to do is have a start and an end date to utilize that mechanism. It'll help people who are being laid off, and it'll help our system here to handle this surge in claims.
Are you tracking the return to work information? Like if somebody
Yes.
a return to work.
Yes, we are, and we know daily how many of our customers are utilizing the temporary shutdown versus the other program. Absolutely.
Are you guys still
Can you give us
utilizing the
those
American
numbers?
Job Center anymore? I know at one point a lot of people who were looking to file were going to the American Job Centers. I'm not sure if you're telling them to go there, or should they directly go online to make sure
They should directly go online. The American Job Centers have been shut down. We've established a hotline for folks to call, and I have the numbers for that, for general questions, not necessarily for filing a claim, but for general questions to manage the system. The number is 860-263-6975 and 203-455-2653. We recently got those numbers up and running, so also be patient with that.
Have you been asked by the federal government to slow down the release of numbers?
We've been asked to be careful about how we submit the numbers for the reason that I gave you before, which is that we have new incoming claims, but we also have a lot of repeat claims. There are some concerns among some people that if we put out exact numbers every day, first of all, which would be a little confusing for those reasons, that putting out those numbers might be used by speculators to speculate on the stock market. That was suggested also. So we're trying to put out general numbers and refer you also to the region.
How often can we expect that, or can we call in for that, or on this, how often are you going to release numbers? I know before it was once a month, right? Is it going to be that or less?
Right, we're required to provide the information once a month, and when we do that monthly update through the commissioner, it's usually 2 months in arrears, so it's not as current, but it is accurate information, and that's what we're trying to provide, is accurate information. As the Commissioner Westby has stated, the first week of a spike in unemployment, we can provide you very close to accurate information as far as the numbers. Once we come out of that first week and there's a backlog, it gets very confusing because it is no longer accurate. We can tell you there's been 10, 20 times the volume. That is true. But what we don't know is in an unemployment claim, it could be a repeat because someone, all of our safeguards are limited, meaning we would never allow someone to file a duplicate claim within 7 days. Now that we're beyond 7 days, that restriction has been lifted through the automation. So there's certain things like that. Plus, if they had filed a new claim for the holidays or the winter break, and now they want to reopen or adjust that claim, that would not be considered a new claim under Labor Department statistical information. So we want to be very careful in the information we're giving to you. We also will know how many weekly filers are actually getting paid. So that's a little bit more information that would be made available. But we have to be very careful in what we classify as a new claim, which I think is what you're asking for. The other question that you had before is how many individuals are using the temporary shutdown versus the other, and that's a very important question. As the commissioner said, the employers are really partnering with this pandemic, and that is great information that the employers can give their employees. So we were trending around 10% of our claims in the classification as a temporary shutdown. Monday, it went to 50%, 50%. So that's fantastic, and that's really great news for those individuals who are able to use that program. Yesterday it was closer to 20, so it is an ebb and flow situation, but we're encouraging the employers to follow the commissioner's instructions, and it will benefit their employees, and it'll make the process a lot quicker for us as well.
It may be too early to ask this, but with the economic stimulus package that passed in Washington, it includes many things, cash payments to people, but will some of that money be going to the Department of Labor and other state agencies to process claims, or?
Some of that money will be going to the Department of Labor to process claims. In the last bill that was passed, we're in the process of submitting our application exactly for that. And then with the new bill that's being deliberated right now, there will be substantial monies for claims, different sorts of claims, and a lot of that money will also be coming to the Department of Labor.
Your focus naturally is on processing claims, but do you have any information for employers as to how they're going to be basically charged for this, right? There's a cost to employer when they lay off, right, to their unemployment insurance?
Yeah, that's called the experience rating.
Right. So is that going to go against them even though they're maybe laying people off due to government?
We'll see. Normally it would. You lay off more people, then your effective rate goes up at a later date as an employer. There is a lot of discussion about waiving any experience rating increases. Of course, when you do that, there's the other side of the coin. The other side is you're not putting in the money into the trust fund, which pays out those benefits. So if you're going to be waiving the experience rating, you have to also have a corresponding increase in the amount of monies going into the trust fund to pay for those benefits.
Do we have any estimates on when we will deplete the trust fund at this point?
We have, I think, upwards to $650 million or so in the trust fund. Certainly we have at least a 2 to 3 months not doing anything right now. We can get along. We are in process of also will be applying for federal loan, as we did in the last recession, to cover. We will have to be borrowing from the feds to manage this crisis.
Do you have an expectation for when these unemployment claims will max out or plateau or return to more of an average?
No, I don't. I wish I did, but the numbers have been rising. I don't think they've even plateaued yet. It's an extreme number that our old system is managing. Our computer experts are keeping it going. Your guess is as good as mine at this point.
Has anyone been tested for COVID-19 who works with the Department of Labor?
There have been a couple. We had one on Monday, I believe, who was tested and sent home. That employee was tested positive, We've worked with with an epidemiologist to be sure that all safety protocols have been put in place at the Department of Labor to be sure no one else was infected, and so far we've gotten a clean bill of health, but that person was sent home.
Were they in UI claims processing by any chance?
No.
To put it into a historical perspective, have you ever seen numbers like this?
No, I've never seen numbers like this. This is unprecedented.
How far back can we?
Well, maybe talk to Daryl because he's been around here a lot longer than I have. But I'll tell you, in the last recession, we had high numbers, but those numbers gradually went up. This happened in a week. This is something that I believe never happened in the history of UI. Maybe you can confirm that.
Across the country, this is a pandemic, and never had any type of volume like this so fast within basically 1 week. The very good thing with Connecticut Department of Labor under Commissioner Westby is we have our online system that is available 24/7. That is something that was never in the past. Before, in order to file your new claim, you had to go through a contact center, and that was really tapped out. Even with 130 reps processing claims during the Great Recession, there was weeks and weeks of delays in getting through just to file your new claim. So the comfort that we're able to offer is that you can file your claim and submit it. Yes, there will be a delay, but you have submitted your claim, you have secured your opportunity, your insurance, and when we get to it, and it will be as fast as we possibly can, you will be made retro. So that's a really big change from 2015, 2016 to now. So we're very pleased with that opportunity.
You guys were at the forefront of putting out these daily numbers, being very transparent about the number of jobless claims that you were getting. Do you think that plays into any factor with the federal government calling on you now to not release those numbers?
No, if across the country the Department of Labor are providing information, it's important to be transparent, but it's also important to make sure that we are providing accurate information. So like we said, the first week of a high volume of unemployment, you know, that is pretty close to as accurate as will be, and it will come out with our Bureau of Labor Statistics in months to come, and you'll be able to categorize that as well. But after we come out of the first week and if the volume's still growing, the data that we're providing is really for planning purposes and how we're going to organize and continue planning for the future. So not only do we have high unemployment for our state unemployment insurance program, but now we're preparing for what the federal delegation is considering, with the Senate passing early this morning, wee hours of the morning, and then what the House will be deliberating throughout the day, and whatever they pass and signed by the President under federal extensions, we have to administer, because unemployment insurance is a federal and state responsibility. It's a partnership, and so we have to be prepared for what the federal government is requiring the State Department of Labor to administer. So it's a very, very, very complex.
When were you asked to hold the numbers back, and by whom were you asked?
We were not asked specifically. It's a known understanding that the information that we're providing, because it's so raw, it will not be accurate, and we can no longer be misleading. We don't want to mislead the public. We don't want to mislead you. We want to make sure we're providing you accurate information. It's just the fairest thing to do.
I may have missed this, but did you give a number as to how many reps are now working? You said you had 130 at the peak of the recession. What do you have working now to process these?
You're right. During the Great Recession at the peak, we had 130 reps, and that was with full-time and temporary employees for the Department of Labor, with overtime and Saturdays and Sundays and holidays. It was incredible. At this particular point, 3 weeks ago, I would have normally 20 people processing unemployment claims, and again, with a 1 to 3 day turnaround, which is fabulous. We had quickly mobilized and started to shut down other areas within the agency, prioritizing under Commissioner Westby's authority, and now we're up to 70 full-time processing with overtime, and we worked last Saturday, and we're planning to continue to do so as long as our computer systems are operational.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just have you say your first and last name, please.
Oh, Kurt Westby, Commissioner, and Daryl Dudzinski, Deputy Commissioner. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Hey, Kurt, how you doing?
I don't know if you know this yet, that's why I didn't want to ask it on camera.
Too close, yeah.
But what what they passed last night, would it allow for self-employed individuals to file an
My
unemployment
understanding
claim?
is that it will.
That it will.
My understanding.
So that will increase then the
Oh, yeah.
demand on this, and then does that change your prediction for the depletion of the UI?
No, because the depletion is going to happen so quick anyway that I think it's kind of pretty much irrelevant by the time we get. We got to get our whole system up and running for that. We don't normally do that.
Right.
So it's going to be a lot of work.
It's a question on the back end of what it is.
Right.
We paid either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a whole category.
Right. That's the whole category you wouldn't normally have.
We don't.
What would you have? Yeah. You don't have anything in place for these people to do that.
And we need COBOL.
No. Really? I thought DAS was the last one.
No, there's a bunch of them out there.
Oh.